Hello, everybody. How are we all? Let me know who's out there. We've got 4 people and 1 thumbs up. It's Tuesday night. It's live stream night. We missed last week, guys. So thank you for meeting me here tonight. And we've got, of course, Natasha, our beautiful olive python. And we don't have any topic tonight. We're just going to have a chat. We aren't going to do venomous snakes tonight, but we'll have a play with some pythons. We'll get out some lizards. We'll have a bit of a chat about Australian wildlife and a couple of ideas for changes with how we might be doing our live streams in the future. So I'd love to get your opinions. But yeah, let me know who's out there, guys. For anybody who's new and unfamiliar with us and Natasha and all our animals, Natasha is, of course, an olive python. This is the 2nd or 3rd largest snake in the country. So these guys get to be 4.5 meters in length. Good evening. G'day, Basil. How are you? I was worried that the comments weren't working. Nobody was saying hi. Awesome python, mate. G'day, Dwayne. G'day, Matthew. How are you? Yeah, Natasha is beautiful. Hello, Lily. Howdy, Nico. G'day, Brian. How are you? So it is only going to be a bit of a short live stream tonight, guys. I am absolutely knackered. But yeah, we're here and we'll tackle some questions. Did I know the Gold Coast in Queensland is full of rivers and canals? I heard Australia has bull sharks. Yeah, so Brisbane, Sydney, they've certainly got plenty of bull sharks around. Is Brutus going to be coming out tonight? I wasn't planning on doing any venomous snakes tonight. But I might get Brutus out. Brutus is more like a python than anything else. Came across from TikTok. You had me at Natasha killing males. Everybody likes Natasha. Yeah. Love my videos. Thank you very much, Lily. So let me know where you guys are watching from. We've got some new people here tonight. For anybody who is new, basically every Tuesday night we do our live streams. But we've been doing it every Tuesday night except for last week for a while now. But I'm thinking we might take the next 2 weeks off. I'm sure a lot of you guys are aware. My beautiful partner is due to have a baby on Friday. So I'll try my best to keep the Sunday videos coming out. But yeah, we may or may not get time to do our live streams for the next couple of weeks, guys. But when they do come back, I was actually thinking, and I don't know what your opinions about this is, but I was thinking about when we come back, coming back to every second week on YouTube. You see, some weeks on YouTube, we have loads of you guys, and it's fantastic. And other weeks, we've got a very small audience, which is fine. But we've also got a big audience on Facebook who always, can you do live streams here? So we're thinking of alternating 1 week on Facebook live stream, 1 week on YouTube live stream. And what we'd do on our Facebook is we would be trying to interview other wildlife people. So a wildlife carer, a researcher, a zookeeper, something like this. And then we would upload that video onto YouTube. So you YouTube followers will still get your 2 videos a week. But we're thinking of doing 1 live stream on Facebook for everyone on YouTube. So I don't know what you guys think. North Brizzy, g'day Brian. South Coast, Steve from Ocean Grove, not too far from me, I suppose. From southeast Melbourne, my family's in southeastern Melbourne, Donvale, Doncaster. Melbourne, how old's Natasha? I don't really know Natasha's age. She's at least 8 or 9, but she's come through a few homes in her lifetime. And the problem with snakes, snakes, kind of like horses in a way, they're often bought and sold several times in their life. But unlike horses, you can't open their mouth, look at their teeth, and get an idea on their age. You're just relying on the information being passed along each time. So with her, we think she's 8 or 9 years old, but we really don't have any good information. Currajong, New South Wales. Congratulations. Thank you very much, Basil. And Mumsy. Oh, she's loving on me. She doesn't really care about me. I'm just a tree to her. I like her. I think she's pretty cool. But yeah. If you are watching, guys, make sure you leave a thumbs up. And before I get too into it, I do want to say, our live streams, I want to give a shout out to a couple of people. Perth Reptile Relocations and Warrnambool Wildlife Encounters are our 2 major patron supporters or Patreon supporters. So please do check them out on Facebook. Warrnambool Wildlife Encounters, a fantastic sort of wildlife experience. You can go and you can take your kids. They can pack koalas and possums and all sorts of cool stuff. And Perth Reptile Relocations, Michael Duggan over in Western Australia. He's one of our other supporters. And yeah, he's got a Facebook page as well. And he catches a lot of dugites, western tiger snakes, things that I can't show you. The other person that I want to sort of give a bit of a shout out to is Tamara. I know she's not here at the moment, but all you regulars, you'll know Tamara. She's not here tonight, but she does a fantastic job. She usually reminds me exactly when our live streams are, when I've got to swap from one to another. So we will all say a shout out to Tamara because we'll miss her in the comments. And she keeps you guys in order. Is that a monitor in the background? Yeah, that's Lucy. Lucy, the lace monitor. She's a good girl. All right, guys, I'll pop her away for a second. Maybe we can get something else out. Maybe we'll get out a lizard. You gotta let go. Hey, Randall. We'll get out Randall. Randall hasn't been on a live. What did we miss? Tamara is a trooper. Thanks, Tamara. There we go. When she watches this later on, I'll make sure she does. She'll know that we all missed her. So this is Randall. Randall is our pink tongue skink. And everybody knows blue tongue skinks. If you're interested in reptiles and you live anywhere in the world, you have to know what a blue tongue skink is. But this is the pink tongue skink. Now, the pink tongue skink fits in the family Cyclodomorphus, whereas blue tongue skinks fit in the family Telequa. Strangely and confusingly, Cyclodomorphus, their family, is called the slender blue tongue skinks, even though this is a pink tongue skink. So the slender blue tongue skinks include things like she oak skinks, things like this, but the pink tongue skink is born with a blue tongue. It just turns pink as it grows older. So unlike the blue tongue skink, these guys don't live all across Australia. These guys are found basically along the east coast of Australia, New South Wales, Queensland, and these guys are semi-arboreal, so much longer, much leaner, much better at climbing, and they live off things like snails and slugs. That's their main diet. What is the most venomous snake or animal in the world? You keep referring to the eastern brown as the most venomous in Australia. No, so the eastern brown is not the most venomous in Australia. The inland taipan is the most venomous snake in Australia and in the world. No snake is more venomous than the inland taipan. The eastern brown's number 2. It's just the most venomous I keep here. So yeah, inland taipan, most venomous snake in the world. We're getting another inland taipan. I'll show you when he arrives. But yeah, tongue born blue and turns pink. How awesome! Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a bit of a mystery as far as I can find why he starts off with a blue tongue and it turns pink. But there you go. It's pretty interesting, nonetheless. So his name is Randall. He's a good boy. And we, of course, have a few blue tongue skinks as well. Maybe we'll get out some blue tongue skink. Maybe I'll get out a blue tongue skink and you compare them, eh? We'll get out Bertha. There you go. So, this is Bertha. She's our alpine blotch blue tongue skink. And it gives you an idea of just how much more robust the blue tongues versus the pink tongues. Now, these guys long, slender, able to hang on, whereas I have to hang on to her. So, very different lizards, but you can see how they are related. Similar builds, similar lifestyles, both live bearing. Very, very cool lizards. I'll put you away, Bertha, because I've only got so many hands. Do I keep spiders as well? Not really. I've kept funnel webs. Unfortunately, my funnel web spider passed away recently. We might get some spiders in the future. The thing is, I normally keep animals that work well for display because I don't just keep these as a hobby. I take my animals to schools and birthday parties and kindergartens and educational events. So I need an animal that I can show people. Whereas the vast majority of spiders, I either end up with just a tub of dirt in a hole or web everywhere and you can't see the spider. So They're so different. Yeah, they are pretty different to each other. The pink tongue's one that most Australians probably don't even know exists. I know I certainly didn't when I was a kid. You're going to show us your little tongue, weren't you? You might show us. Gonna stick it out. I'll tickle your nose. Alright, maybe I'll get something else out and show you, eh? What else have we got? We can get out a crocodile. Has anybody seen our crocodiles before? We'll get out maybe minnow. Didn't know they existed now. Had no idea about the pink tongue. Most people don't. There you go. Hey, minnow. Grumpy crocodile. Alright, so something different. This is minnow. Oi. Be good. I'm trying to show everybody how awesome you are. Good boy. So this is minnow. Minnow is grumpy, and minnow is a freshwater crocodile. So Australia obviously has two species of crocodiles. We've got saltwater crocs and freshwater crocs. They're terrible names. Saltwater crocodiles much prefer to live in freshwater ecosystems than saltwater ecosystems. Freshies just live further upstream, and the reason they live further upstream is because salties predate upon them. In the 1970s, 80s, when saltwater crocodile populations were low, freshwater crocodiles certainly moved further downstream. So it's not that they can't handle it, it's just that when they live alongside salties, they don't do very well. Funny thing is, out of our two species of crocodiles, of course, the saltwater croc is the one that's dangerous, the one that can kill people, whereas freshwater crocodiles aren't considered dangerous to people at all, as long as you don't piss them off too much. But everybody loves salties, and that's fine. I love salties, but they're considered sort of the iconic Australian crocodile. They're very, very cool animals, and Australia's got a lot of them, probably more than any other country in the world. But we're not the only country with saltwater crocodiles. In fact, saltwater crocodiles are found from the Solomon Islands on one side, Vanuatu, all the way across to, say, India on the other side. So we're just in the middle of its range. We also don't even have the biggest saltwater crocodile. So the biggest saltwater crocodile officially recorded was Lolong, who was caught in the Philippines. I'll put him away because you don't like being handled too much. But it gives you a bit of a look about minnow, our freshwater crocodile. So, yeah, saltwater crocodiles, very cool, but not exactly, completely Australian. They're found in a lot of places. Whereas the freshwater crocodile, to me, is about as Australian as it gets because they're not found anywhere else on Earth. Brian, thank you very much. Challenge to others tonight for the most super chats. Come on, people. Thank you very much, Brian. It means a lot. I wish I could send you one, but you're broke as. I know the feeling. I have a lot of animals that like chewing up all my anything I own. He's cool. He is a very cool animal. Maybe we will get out. Maybe we'll get out Jake. Jake hasn't been out for a little while. So the tanks behind me, they're all our carpet, or most of our carpet pythons. The other one being, of course, Jake, who's actually about to shed your skin. Jake here is coming up to a shed, so he's not the prettiest that he's ever been. G'day Kim, how are you? When building the King Brown Snake Inland Taipan exhibit, need to add rocks, dirt, sand, dried plants from all over the outback. You can do. I keep my venomous snake exhibits fairly plain because at the end of the day, there is an animal that can kill me in there. So if I want to take them out, I don't want to have to be like pulling plants apart and rummaging through rocks. And rocks, you have to be careful that they can't dislodge. So in the wild, a rock might go half a meter underground. It's not going to move. But a lot of people, they put sand in their enclosure, they set a nice rock on top. The animal buries under it and the rock falls on them, crushes them. So, all those things can make a fantastic, you're going down my top, a fantastic display. But in captivity, we've got to bear in mind that a lot of those aesthetic things, they're for us. If I have, all these plants, I think they look nice. The snakes really don't care. Interestingly, inland taipans, found in very arid parts of the country, not really found in sandy environments. They're actually found on clay soils. They live in areas where the ground cracks open and they live down those cracks. Sandy climates aren't very good for that because the ground never cracks open. So it doesn't produce that habitat. So there's a lot more to desert than people imagine. Still the best looking carpets. They are very cool. I do like Murray Darlings. Unfortunately, they've been, there was a point where they'd become so overabundant in captivity. Now, I don't know. I'd be tempted to produce Murray Darlings. I'd like to produce locality-specific Murray Darlings. And I know somebody who produces Barmer locality Murray Darlings. So Victorian Murray Darlings, which would be very cool. Very good point about the rocks. Yeah, there's more things to designing an enclosure than just making it look pretty. Looking pretty is fine. In some ways, it's an important thing. I like pretty enclosures because, I enjoy coming into seeing them. But also, there's a bit of a psychological aspect where if you've got a nice looking enclosure, suddenly it maybe ups the ante with how much time you're wanting to put into it. You want to keep it looking that pretty. So, but I know people who keep them on newspaper with a plastic box for a hide, and their snakes are perfectly happy. Do rainbow lorikeets feed on nectar? They certainly do. They're nectivores. In fact, rainbow lorikeets have a really particular tongue. So if you look at a cockatoo's tongue, it's fairly dry and it's smooth. It's almost like if you've ever seen Jurassic Park, there's a scene where the Triceratops is sick and she picks at its tongue. A cockatoo tongue's like that because they're a seed eater. Lorikeets, being a nectar eater, they've got a brush on the end of their tongue. They stick that little brush in all the flowers and collect the nectar that way. So they're kind of sugar junkies. People in captivity feed them a lot of fruit. But yeah, seeds aren't particularly good for them. Do they like it being changed? I really don't know. I don't change my enclosures around too much because unfortunately they're not as big as I'd like. They're still big enough, but I'd like to double the sizes of them. But I don't move them around a lot. From time to time, I will take shed skins from one enclosure and put in another one, and you'll see them moving around like, what smell is here? I can smell something new in my home. And I do, on warm days, I've got some enclosures outdoors that I'll pick random snakes and I'll put them outside to get some sunlight. And they seem to enjoy exploring and moving around those enclosures. But who knows? How do you tell what goes through his mind, eh? Have we got any other questions, guys, while we're here? How you doing, Jake? So, when I said before he's going to shed his skin, he feels sort of, you can feel that he's going to shed his skin. It's hard to describe. I suppose I just handle him every day, and you know that his skin feels a little bit almost like tissue papery. But also, it's very cloudy, very drab, not very colourful compared to what he is normally. And his eyes are ever so slightly milky. So one of our snakes, Samson here actually, he shed his skin this morning. This is Samson's skin. So, question, where is everyone? I don't know. We're missing a bunch of regulars tonight. How big do black-headed monitors get? I caught a lot of black-headed monitors in central Queensland. And they were like 1.5 feet long, 1 feet long would be the biggest, it'd be a foot. Would be about as big as they get. Like Varanus tristis, the black-headed monitor you get in Queensland. I'm told over in Western Australia, their black-headed monitors get a smidge bigger, or substantially bigger, but I've never dealt with them. So, yeah, the black-headed monitor localities that I used to work with, I used to catch them for, I worked for a company during land clearing. If they were clearing scrub, I'd be there and finding any animals caught up in the clearing, checking that they were okay, and moving them off to the side of where they were clearing. So we caught a lot of black-headed monitors out there. And yeah, about 1 foot was about as maximum as they're going to get. Maybe I'll put them away. We'll get out some, some of the other carpet pythons, maybe. We've got Quasimodo out. Maybe we'll get Diana out. Here for the 4th week straight after coming across on TikTok. Thank you very much. TikTok's a funny one. A friend of mine convinced me to get TikTok. I was very, very anti-TikTok for years and years. And Venomman20 is a friend of mine with another TikTok and a YouTube channel. He was always on me, oh, you got to get TikTok, you got to get TikTok. And I said, oh, TikTok's for 12-year-old girls. He goes, no, people will love your videos. So if you like us on TikTok, make sure you follow Venomman20 because he's the reason we're on TikTok. Do I have an albino Darwin? No, I don't these days. I've kept albinos. Unfortunately, when COVID first hit, I had to move on and find homes for a lot of animals just because I couldn't afford to keep them all. You know, the way we fund everything here is by doing displays, and they all became cancelled. Keep doing lives on TikTok. So yeah, we normally do our lives on, well, every Tuesday night we try and do a live stream. Every Tuesday night we do a live stream. YouTube is the important one. So YouTube is what it's all built around. But we usually hop on TikTok beforehand and sort of drum up some attention, get out some animals. But we are talking about swapping to doing YouTube one week and a Facebook live stream the next week. And then, you know, back and forth, YouTube, Facebook. Just because we've also got a fairly big audience on Facebook and they don't get to see all this stuff that you guys do. And the main thing is on Facebook, we've got the ability to do like webcam with somebody else. So I'm thinking about organizing a heap of sort of experts, people who are, you know, wildlife carers or specialize in a species, you know, or researchers and things like this, and doing interviews with them. And then we will upload that video onto YouTube as a video of its own. So there'll still be 2 YouTube videos a week, but we're thinking about alternating between YouTube and Facebook live streams. I would like to see a and I would like to see a diamond python. She loves diamond pythons. Oh, Ada. Well, Ada, it's your lucky day because this is Diana, and Diana is a diamond python. So the diamond python is found further south than any other python in the world. They're very pretty snakes. But the reason for this dark color is because they're found in such a southern place. They're found as far south as like Malakuta in Victoria, so East Gippsland. And the dark colors, maybe the Facebookers should come here along with the TikTokers. I know. Well, I think a lot of the Facebookers don't realize we've got YouTube, and a lot of the YouTubers don't necessarily follow us on Facebook. The hard thing is they're both important to us for different reasons. YouTube is fantastic because we've got a great community on YouTube. You guys talk to us every week. Facebook's important because it's where people book us. Like if I get birthday parties and shows, I get it through Facebook. So we also need to not neglect the Facebook side of it if we're going to survive. So yeah, we've also got a Patreon group. We've got a Facebook group for our Patreon supporters. So all our Patreon supporters, they've got a private Facebook group where they get to talk to me, talk to each other, do whatever they want. Didn't know you had other platforms. We have, I'd say all of them, but we got Instagram. I don't do much on Instagram. But yeah, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok are the main ones. Facebook is, you know, we put up a lot of photos, obviously, but Facebook is where all the work stuff, all our displays, where we've got bookings, where you can come and see us. YouTube, it's less about our business and more about just talking about wildlife. So we try and do a bit of all of it. But yeah, follow us on all of them. You agree, Dwayne? It'd be fantastic if everybody who follows us could follow us on all 3. But, you know, everybody's busy. You can only do so much. I'd like to get more content out on all 3. But really, I probably spend the most time. YouTube definitely takes the most time. I spend maybe 5 minutes a day making sure there's a Facebook post. I spend about 4 hours a week researching, fact-checking, filming and editing the YouTube video that we put out. So, you know, I love the fact that you guys will watch our videos, but it takes a lot of work to get these videos out every single week. I watch the snake artist on YouTube. I think I've watched him. He's I reckon I've spoken to a snake artist on YouTube. It was like, if you ever come to Tasmania, we can work something together, but it could be somebody else. Follow all 3. Thank you very much, Dwayne. All right, we might get 1 or 2 more animals out, guys, and then we're going to call it a night. Like I said, it's been a big week. But for, I'm sure I've already said it, but if anybody's new and they haven't heard, not only are we thinking about changing up the way we do live streams, we might be taking the next week or 2 off from live streams, because it all depends how things go with the new baby on the way. New baby's born Friday afternoon, so I will try and keep our Sunday videos coming out, but whether or not I get time to do a live stream will depend on how everything settles in with a second baby in the house, because can't tell the newborn, look kid, it's 8:30 on Tuesday night. Quiet. So we'll see how we go. All right, what else should we get out for a little bit? Hang on, maybe I got something different that we can get out. Here you go. This is something a bit different. How closely related do you think our freshwater crocs to the Indian gharial? Not very closely related at all. Millions and millions and millions of years separating them. The gharial's in a family all of its own. The similarities, there's a lot of similarities when you look at them. That narrow snout, fish-eating habit, are what we call convergent evolution, where one trait works very well, so it's evolved by numerous different animals. So no different to like porcupines, hedgehogs, and echidnas, all having spines, despite being, one a rodent, one an insectivore, and one a monotreme. So convergent evolution is why they're the same. There's also the tomistoma, which people used to call the false gharial, has a very narrow snout as well. So, do king browns have strong jaws when biting prey similar to a Gila monster? I wouldn't say that anyone here is strong as a Gila monster, but they do have fairly stout fangs. Not long fangs, but fairly solid fangs. And I'm told by people who know a lot more about physiology than me, it's because being a reptile eater, they need to have the strength to basically pierce through a reptile's scale as they bite. But yeah, they don't need the bulldog jaws that lizards do. Why do diamond pythons have spots? So the reason diamond pythons have these spots, the black color is to basically absorb heat. So by being darker, they warm up quicker. But the spots, the dapples, is where they're living is basically dense forested environments. So you'd think black and yellow doesn't blend in very well. But if you look at the bottom of the forest floor in a dense forest, especially ferny places like East Gippsland, they're blending in all that dappled sunlight at the bottom of the forest. So that's where that works really well. How is it to care for frogs? There's something I'd like to own, but I'm much put off because I don't know much about caring them. I don't keep many frogs because they're just a little bit more fragile. This guy here is a magnificent tree frog, or a splendid tree frog, which for all intents and purposes is identical to a green tree frog to keep. They're just a little bit more interesting because they got these nice spots, nice yellow colors, and they're not found all over the country. But yeah, these species, pretty easy to keep. You're talking like a glass terrarium. They don't need like a fish tank full of water. They've got a big water dish, but other than that, they've basically got gravel and they've got some plants in their enclosure. So, got myself a baby eastern tiger snake. Are the westerns and Tassie localities same toxicity but a bit different? I'm told westerns have a different toxicity, but I haven't seen any information on it published in the last 10 years. Like the blue belly to the red bellied. Yeah, so blue bellies and red bellies, totally different species. Western tiger snakes and eastern tiger snakes, Tasmanian tiger snakes, they're all actually the same species. We used to break them into different species, but the genetics show tiger snakes are all one species. Named Fredo. I don't know, this one doesn't really have a name at the moment. My daughter calls it Kermit, but we've got 3 of them and she calls them all Kermit. So, why do diamond pythons have the spots? Yeah, so the spots for diamond pythons are basically to help blend in that dappled sunlight. So down the bottom of the forest floor, by being dark, like black, with either yellow or white spots. Some have yellow spots, some have white spots. Diana's got a bit of both. They blend in with all that dappled sunlight and the shade at the bottom of the forest floor. So it breaks up their body shape. Have I been bitten by a venomous snake? No, I've never been bitten by a venomous snake. I've been present when people have been bitten by venomous snakes. I was buying a taipan from a man, who was bitten in front of me, like from me to the camera away, and I had to bandage him up and wait for the ambulance with him. I've also had to bandage up a friend who was bitten by an eastern brown snake, but that one turned out to be a dry bite. The taipan bite, the man spent 11 days in hospital. So, yeah, pretty serious stuff. But no, fortunately, I've never had a venomous bite myself. I'd like to keep it that way. But yeah. So hello, everybody. So this species here, the magnificent tree frog, as I was saying, very similar to the green tree frog, but the green tree frog has probably the biggest distribution of any frog in the country, like 2/3 of Australia. The magnificent tree frog is basically found in the Kimberleys. So from like the Northern Territory, basically just around the Northern Territory, West Australia border, around the Kununurra region. And they live in sort of rocky escarpments, whereas green tree frogs live anywhere. But aside from that, they're pretty closely related. They're very similar. Care requirements the same. Just found in a very limited patch of the world. They're very cool. I'll pop them away and start to wrap things up, I reckon. All right. So far, so good. Do I breed any snakes? I don't really breed any snakes at the moment. I've bred some snakes. There's a few things I might breed in the future. I've always been sort of anti-breeding any of the pythons because I think everybody breeds them. There's so many of them. But I would like to breed my diamonds, my Murray darlings, and I'd like to get southwestern carpet pythons specifically because I'd like to breed them outdoors. I don't see it done very much, especially here in southern Australia. Yeah, that's my project that I'm working on. Tub feeding or tank feeding option for pythons. I feed pretty much everything in their enclosures. I used to feed everything in tubs. I don't really have an opinion either way. A lot of people who are very, very anti one or the other. You can feed snakes in their enclosures and it's not going to make them cage aggressive, assuming that you're actually handling them at some point in time as well. If you feed them once a week and you haven't taken them out for 12 months, then yeah, they'll get cagey, but it's not because of the feeding, it's because of the lack of handling. That being said, I've also fed snakes in tubs because I'll often use it. Venomous snakes particularly, I'll feed them in tubs because often I'll put them in a tub with the defrosted rat already in the tub, so I don't have to tong feed or anything like that. I don't have the feeding reaction happen to me. Put them in the tub, close the lid, and I'll use that as the time to clean the enclosure. We used to do a lot of tub feeding when I was in zoos because a lot of zoo enclosures we cohabitate. So we had like 4 red-tailed boa constrictors in one enclosure. We couldn't feed them together, so we'd put them all in tubs. We'd feed them. We'd give them a gentle mist down with water so that they can't smell rat on each other's face. Then we'd all put them back on display. We kept, cobras and all sorts of stuff in, group enclosures, and that's how we got around the feeding response. Maybe a silly question, but can you crossbreed like dogs? Some snakes can crossbreed. So, closely related snakes. So all our carpet pythons, who are essentially the same species anyway, all the carpet pythons, snakes that aren't the same species, like reticulated pythons and Burmese pythons. People crossbreed those in captivity. Venomous snakes and non-venomous snakes, they cannot crossbreed. We did a recent video on this on TikTok, and we did a video on YouTube on 7 silly myths about snakes, and that was one of the myths, that venomous snakes and non-venomous snakes can crossbreed. I can finally relax and watch a stream now. I've looked after the children and women gotten home from work. How is the stream going? We're about to wrap things up. Making chili hot sauce. Want one? Oh, I'd try a chili hot sauce. Add me on Facebook. Find Wicked Wildlife on Facebook. Send us a message. I feed at night time, so at daytime I don't have to worry. My jungle is very bloody. I usually feed during the day, only because at night time I'm doing my live streams, so I don't want everybody in food mode then. Samson, he will only eat. Annoys the hell out of me. He will only eat once the lights all turn off. But he'll have a good one. Yeah, normally we go for an hour here, but I'm running on fumes, guys. So All right, well, while we've got ahead of the comments, I think we're going to wrap it up there, guys. But it's been a good live stream. We've had a few people here. We're missing a few regulars, so hopefully we get them back next week. We'll make sure that Tamara, who's usually one of our main moderators, knows that we all miss her. But for everybody else, make sure you leave a thumbs up. Loving the vids. Would like to see more on birds. I'd love to do more videos on birds. Unfortunately, I don't keep many. So I need people who have birds to give me access to them. I've got a lot of places where I can film birds. So I've got a friend who keeps a lot of birds of prey. Like he keeps eagles and condors and owls. But he's in New South Wales. We're not allowed to visit other states at the moment. So once we're not locked down, I will try and get more variety in our videos. But currently, I'm just having to think of topics with the animals I have here because we're pretty limited with what we can do. Love the videos. I love eagles. I like eagles too. They're pretty cool animals. I've worked with a few. They really are really special animals. But all right, guys, we're going to finish things up there. If you haven't already, please leave a thumbs up. If you've followed us from TikTok and come across here, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is really important to us. Can I bring Aztec in one night? Probably not. Aztec gets really nervous, like with new situations. We're building a new dingo enclosure at the moment. And maybe once I get that done, I can do a live stream in his dingo enclosure. My partner, who's a lot more tech savvy than me, is looking into better internet so that we can do some videos around the property. But yeah, I can try it. I'll bring Aztec in maybe during a day one time and see what he thinks. But rather than do it live for the first time, if he has a meltdown, I don't want it to be live on camera and have to be abandoning you guys while I take him out to his enclosure, because it's like a 5-minute walk to his enclosure. We're on a big property. All right, so yeah, like I said, guys, please thumbs up, subscribe if you do want to help us out and do something else. Supporting us on Patreon or buying our merch. We've got shirts, we've got mugs, we've got jumpers, all kinds of things like that. But yeah, main thing, guys, just follow our videos, get your friends to watch, all that sort of jargon. I'll see you next week, but between now and then, have a good one, everybody.